All right, we back. It's your host, Paul J. And today I got Big Cuz. State your name for the record.
State my name for the record. This Big J. You know what I mean? All the way out of the PA. Phoenix, Arizona, man.
All right. Hold on, let me turn you up. Let me check you again. Go ahead.
Hello.
Got you low.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, that's why. Go ahead.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
All right, one more time.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
All right, that's better. Okay. I guess we can start with like your journey, like where you started from or like where you from and then how'd you get out to Arizona?
All right, let me see if I can do this in a quick version. Born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, South Side, 6 South Troop, 608 Foster Park area. Grew up there from the time I was born to the time I turned 14 years of age. When I turned 14, the summer of '84, I caught a flight to California, Los Angeles. Came in to LAX, got picked up by my uncle and took to see my grandmother at her job, showed me around, and before I looked up, I was on the west side of LA, living on Smiley, 52 Southwest Smiley Drive. That's between Adams and Hauser. Stayed there for 10 years. Went to high school out there. And I left in '94. So 10 years later, came to visit out here in Arizona. And I've been here in Arizona since 1994.
What was your first job and I guess your first job, it was your first job ever and then your first job in Cali and then your first job in
My first job
Phoenix.
in Cali, I worked for Fat Burgers. My partner Jeffries, he was the regional manager, and he lived across the street from me when we lived in Gardena, California, on 144th Street. Jeff was like, "Man, you wasting your time out here in the streets, man. I'm gonna put you up, set you up with a job." So I started working at Fat Burgers when I was about 15 years old. Worked for a guy named Harry, and actually the manager, which was my first wife, and had my first child by Maria.
Dang. So then like moving on to like making what was that feeling of like moving across the country at a young age?
I wasn't real receptive at first because, sometimes when you're in your comfort zone and all you know is just where you grew up at and where you come from, you kind of be you feel like you out of place, like a misfit. And when I first got to Cali, I thought I was just going to stay for the summer to hang out with my uncle and my cousins from Philadelphia, and everybody had came here to California. So then I just was thinking to myself, I was just going to be here for the summer. So when school started to get ready to check back in, I was asking my grandmother, like, all right, so I'm ready to go back to school back in Chicago. She was like, nah, you're not. Like, what you mean? She like, who you gonna go live with? I was like, I'm gonna go live with my auntie Carol. She was like, nah, you gotta stay here. I was like, why would I want to stay here? I'm used to everything back home. She was like, well, ain't no back home because I don't live there no more. Ain't nobody you can really go live with. So I was kind of a little resentment because that was my teenage years, and I had looked forward to going to high school, playing sports at home, and I had got kind of like, I don't want to say drafted, but I was a prospect for baseball for CVS, a Chicago vocational school. So I had looked forward to, spending my time there. And I was kind of not receptive to living in California at that point in time.
Dang. So what I didn't know you played them sports though. What other sports you play?
Basketball, baseball, everything.
Dang. what advice would you give somebody that is going through that same transition, like moving and or just feeling uncomfortable in their new settings?
Well, I later learned on in life when I got older and had been through so many up downs and disappointments in life. You have to learn how to adapt to change, but don't change your personality. And sometimes you so comfortable in doing some things, you have to learn how to be uncomfortable. I mean, you have to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable because you don't know whether that change was a better for your life or not because you're not giving it a chance. You fighting yourself at that point in time. It's called the spiritual warfare. So at that time, I was fighting myself, and then a lot of negative things started to happen because I just wanted things to go back to the way I was used to. And you don't know at that point in time that you are trying to mature in life, and you fighting that growth in your life because you're not real accepted to change, to new things. Like some people get into the habit of just don't want things to change, and they get complacent. And complacent is not a good thing. Complacent is a negative aspect that you take on, and then you feel like everything should be that way. When new ideas and new things come about every day, change is irrelevant. It's gonna change no matter how you want it to or you don't want it to. Change is coming.
Straight up.
So the more you open to it and open minded and look at things from a positive aspect, you learn to change your life and look at things from a positive aspect, you won't have any problems in life. You won't go through such a hard time. Like I see some people who can just roll with the punches. They just be having so much fun and life be so good for them. And they could really be in a bad situation. But it ain't never bothering them because they not looking at it as a bad situation. They looking at it as like, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, or like something got to give. Eventually it's gonna change for
It's
the
gonna
better.
change. They riding a wave. So they learn how to be a surfer.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I got a cousin and he say like he's comfortable but not complacent. So he just saying like, yeah, he at a level where he's good, but at the same time he don't want to get complacent in that level and just want to like look forward and like stay focused on getting better.
Man, I'm gonna tell you for example, I've been here in Arizona since I was 24 years of age. And in the 24 years that I've been here, through all my ups and downs, bad, good endeavors that I've been through, as I look from my past to present, had I not made that move at 24 years of age with a wife, with a child, and a child to be expecting, I was 24 and had 2 kids by the age of 25. So I made some decisions that was life-breaking changes to raise kids and be such a young age. But I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take none of this back because the journey for me was up and down based upon how I matured. So the longer I fought it, it took me that long to upgrade. When I stopped fighting the change and started rolling with the change, I gradually just took off like a rocket. Like you and I've been talking the whole weekend, is that I went away 3 times in 10 years. And what I mean by away is I went to prison 3 times. And everybody that never went to prison, they complacent. I came out and I surpassed them. I'm in a better situation than they are. I'm a felon. I'm able to travel, got passports. I'm able to do all the things that they said they couldn't do. Get a job. I can get a job whenever I want to. It's about my maturity and my knowledge and my intellect that I put in me. So to change and put it on my perspective in a positive aspect, life has taken me totally different.
What do you feel is the biggest difference between those two situations? Like, where would you be without without that test? You know, where do you think you would be?
Dead. All my partners that I grew up with, all my partners that I got involved with, majority of them is dead. It ain't too many of them. I didn't even think I was going to live past 21 at one point in time. I got shot when I was 17.
Dang.
You know what I mean? So I got shot at my job in LA on Broadway in Manchester. So 17, I was banging. I was working. But in my evening time, I was going through my environmental changes as an African-American young black man. I saw Los Angeles change in a dynamic that I never would have imagined in Chicago. But it wasn't just LA. All across America, life was changing. The crack epidemic came into life in a whole different manner. Cocaine went from being a rich man's drug to being the number one poor man downfall.
Dang.
It affected all our families in a major way, indirectly and directly. Indirectly, it might have been an auntie or uncle or a cousin or a neighbor or your best friend's mom, your best friend's dad. They was married and now they divorced. Now they lost their house. Now your friend homeless. You know what I'm saying? Indirectly, it affected so many people. Your classmates. I never forget when a young girl my age we went to school with, I saw her hooking her body for crack. We the same age. How you 16 and it's supposed to be the best time of your life? You strung out on something that you should have never had access to.
That access is a good point. I feel like most of the opportunities that are around you, like at that young age, being like black, it's like far and few. So like you become hopeless, you know what I mean? And you just feeding into whatever stereotype you seeing or reading about, and you're trying to do your best to be accepted. But it sounded like you said, being young and impressionable, the opportunities you had even to make friends outside of that was just far and few. Like nobody to really guide you.
That's what we lacking at. That's what me and I was telling you about today. The men that I hang around today are real men. And what I mean by real men are they care about themselves. They love themselves first. So to them, anything and everything they do has to be a progression. And they not afraid to talk and tell someone how to better themselves. You know what I mean? It's from young to old. You have to learn how to communicate with one another because times are changing so fast. The average kid is growing up twice as fast as your generation. I got a quote that says that 4 generations said that grandfather walked 10 miles to school. Walked 10 miles to work. The great-grandfather walked 10 miles to work. The grandfather worked 5 miles to work. The son wound up driving a Cadillac, and his son now is ready to drive a Mercedes-Benz. But when he get to the 5th generation, he has to go back to walking. That analogy states that each generation made a change to better themselves, but by the time they get to the 5th generation, the change is so drastic that it weakened the generation. It started off being strong by knowing that the struggle is here. So you gotta work hard. So by the time it got to the fourth generation got something handed to him. So he don't know what hard work, determination, and dedication is. It got handed to him. So his actions are not going to be the actions of learning pride, self-esteem, morals, and being respectful, because everything been handed to him. He's been spoon-fed, so he's been spoiled.
Yeah, that's real, for real.
Yeah, it blew my mind. But as I'm looking now, that's why I used to tell my wife, and rearing our kids up, is you can't give them everything.
Yeah, gotta
You
bump
have
your
to make
head.
them earn it. You know, it was funny to see. I was digging through some paperwork the other day, and I saw in the paperwork that my 21-year-old was paying me back monthly installments to pay for a set of tires that fit on her car. And it showed where in my notes she was paying consistently. When she get her paycheck, even though she was working for the family business, she still was being responsible. So now when I look at her today and see that she's 21 years of age, driving a 2020 Tesla and has a condominium townhouse at 21 years of age, and it's a rental property, that tells me that I won't have to worry about her in life. That means I did a good job. Me and my wife did an excellent job of raising our child.
Straight up.
You know, understand what I'm saying? So all my children are in that same position to better themselves so that they don't live on us and be weak and be tainted by thinking they depend on us all the time.
Yeah, know who they are and
They know who they are. They know who they want to be. They know where they want to be in life. Yeah, they dreams ain't big like my dreams, but they dream still. A lot of people don't get that chance to sleep and dream. A lot of people are going through so much trouble when times is messed up for them that they can't even get sleep. Sleep is important. God brings peace. So if you ain't got that in your life, you ain't got a peaceful life.
I see a lot of people going through that. You ask them about like their spiritual journey or something, and they don't really have much to like boast about. But then you see how they operate, and it's just all over the place, or like it's nothing that's really
Concrete.
yeah,
Ain't no foundation.
nothing streamlined at all. Like don't know who they are. And
People don't even know what the Bible stands for.
elaborate.
They don't even understand what that Bible stand for. Basic instruction, beginning, living your eternal life.
That's tight.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm thankful because fortunate enough for me, I learned what filling in the gap means, which is in religion terms is called give me just a second, my mind went blank on this. It's called interceding. So when you have elders that pray for their family, they are interceding for your well-being. So even if you're not a person who pray for yourself, your ancestors did. So your ancestors was prayer warriors. They prayed for any and everybody in the family. So a lot of times I was out living vicariously, living my life while doing what I was doing, but my grandmother was interceding for me. And I never forget one time she sat me down and she said, "You so dumb. You don't even know how hard I pray for you." I used to think it was like, why are you praying for me, Grandmama? You older, you need to pray for yourself. She was like, nah, because you don't know no better. She was like, so I'm going to show you how this works. So she really did. She really prayed sincerely and interceding for my life. It's called filling in the gap. So a lot of things was going negative in my life on an up and down roller coaster, but I always came up out of it and kept coming up out of it because my ancestors interceded for me. So I was blessed and didn't even realize the difference between mercy and grace. So the grace is the interceding that God placed upon your life so that you will be able to pass those tests. You'll have the strength. You'll have the knowledge. You'll gain wisdom. Money doesn't give you that. A wealthy man is a man who has wisdom. A wealthy woman is a woman who has wisdom. Wisdom and health can make all the money in the world.
That's a bar. Straight up. Who is somebody that guided you or you felt like you could look up to change, like a role model, whether it's like a celebrity or, you know, a family member or?
I had a couple of them. I had several role models to look up to. My uncles, and one was my mother's brother, and that's my Uncle John. And I had several Uncle Johns. Each one of my Uncle Johns were very instrumental in my life. And then there was one of my best friend's father. He had an impact on my life. And my grandfather had an impact on my life. And it seemed like when they wasn't present was the rough time that I had because, you know, they passed away and I moved, and some of them were not in the best place anymore in their life. They were going through their own struggles at that point in time. So I kind of felt alone at that point in time. And probably around 25 to 26 is when me and my father really started to learn how to communicate with one another. And he came back into my life at that point. And he started being patient enough to sit down and hear me out and allow me to talk. And I started to see his journey, what happened, and how his. So they say in the Bible that your forefathers' sins are placed upon you. So if a man sinned and he have a son, his son now inherit his sins. It's kind of odd to really believe that or say that, but it's true. It's facts. You know how people now throw this word around DNA? It's in his Dana. So whatever your Dana is, you know, it will be passed down to you as an inheritance, just like a disease or like a sickness. So say, the doctor say, I used to always think to myself when I go get a physical, why the doctor always asking me about my father and his father, and has anybody has diabetes in your family? Do it run? What do you mean, do diabetes run in our family? If one person got it, that mean everybody gonna get it? No, it just connect to what olive branch you connect to, which is your DNA. So if your parents had it, it's a possible chance that you might have that trait. Because where you come from your parents' DNA. So that's why they say a man's sins can be hereditary. So my grandfather, and it's funny because I'm gonna just use this as Example. So my father is my lineage. His father is his lineage. So my grandfather had his family with my grandmother and had a child from another woman at the same time while he was having his family. My father, fast forward, my father is his fifth child.
Mm-hmm.
My father is his fifth child. My father wind up having me, and then later on went and married and had 2 more children. So he had 2 women with 2 different children. Fast forward to me, I had 3 women that had 5 kids, but I got 5 kids from 3 sets of women. So I didn't stop it. It passed down.
Yeah.
Without even knowing that, without actually knowledgeably knowing that happened. I didn't realize it until I started sitting down and internally looking at my life. And that came about when I was probably about 28.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when my uncle, who made the most impression on me, sat me down and said to me, my uncle Harold told me that understanding the word of God will help guide you through life because it's the basic principles of how to live your life. So he told me, it's the basic instructions. He said, a man matures every 7 years. He said from 0 to 7, you're a boy. From 7 to 14, you are now a young man. So in that 7 to 14 is now when you start to become your character. He said the most critical time in your life is from 14 to 21. That's going to determine how your future going to be.
Oh, that's real.
So if you have a rough 14 to 21, your future might start to look a little dim. And what most people at 21 and 22 and 23 and 24 be saying, I'm depressed. Because that 14 to 21 didn't go well. That's where it got rocky. That's where you start feeling yourself. That's where you start learning your swag, your confidence, your character, right and wrong. Yeah, it's wrong, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's when you became disobedient. So if you get it messed up in that 14 to 21, it's rough. And the word says that you have a life of 7s. 8s is the total completion. 7s is the end to start to change another 7. It's like, damn, really? I ain't realized that. But go through your life and go break your life down in them 7s and you'll see what you're talking about. See, right now, you in your 4th going into your 5th 7.
Mm-hmm.
See, I done already made it into my 7-7. So my 7-7s, I was completed at 49. That's why I was like, if I make it to 50, I'm blessed beyond, because I didn't think I was gonna make it to the full 7. I've been in and out of some tight situations where I shouldn't even be here. But prayer, interceding, being an intercessor, somebody doing this, me paying it forward, me looking out for somebody else, me learning to pray for myself, me learning to pray for others. Now look, I'm past that 50.
How it feel?
Amazing. I know I've been walking around here a little on edge lately based upon some little minor situation, but I'm looking at the cost of this damage that's happening. But I'm not really tripping on it. I'm just upset because it's out of my norm. I had to get uncomfortable again. I got complacent, thinking it's gonna run so smooth. I shouldn't be going through these complications right now because I set myself up.
Mm-hmm.
But just because you set yourself up, don't mean that something is always trying to knock you off your square. It's not. It's inevitable because things change so fast. Things change so fast, and you're not looking at that anymore. That's what they call taking things for granted.
Mm.
Can't take nothing for granted.
What's your something you most proud of?
Something I'm most proud of.
Mm-hmm.
A person or just anything.
Yeah, both.
I'm proud of myself for overcoming the obstacles and hurdles that got me here today. I'm very proud of my children, and I'm very proud of my spouse. I'm proud of my siblings too, even though some of them are in some difficult situations. I'm still proud of them because they still living. So it wasn't all in vain. They still got enough in them to currently sustain the situations that they are even in, and they still fighting. They ain't give up. So I'm very proud of that.
You still good on time? Oh, okay. We can move into some of the lighter ones. If you could be on any TV game show, what would it be?
Probably Family Feud.
Yeah.
I've been saying that. Family Feud and Wheel of Fortune, I've been saying that all my life.
Well, dang, what's my guy? Richard Dawson, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was fine. Oldest pair of shoes.
Oldest pair of shoes
Yep.
that I have.
Yeah.
I got a pair of Air Force Ones that I done had for a cool little minute. For real.
That's what's up. What song or artist has had a profound influence on you?
It's a couple.
Yeah, either one. I mean, you can give both. And why?
Al Green.
Mm.
I'm gonna say Al Green. I'm gonna say the Isley Brothers, and I'm gonna say Pac and Jay Z.
Mm. Yeah, that's a hell of a list. Straight up. Any particular reasons or?
The messages that they have in their music, no matter whether it's present, past, or future, they message still hits on each one of those aspects. And if you caught down in a situation in your life, you can listen to that and get inspiration and uplift yourself and move forward.
Mm. Especially that, yeah, straight up. Where do you see yourself in 20 years?
Retired on somebody's island, sitting watching the waterfront, looking at the birds and the fish coming up, and sitting next to my queen, sipping some of that rosé.
Dang, that's a good good answer, good answer. Hold on, let me have my. What was your favorite toy as a kid?
My big wheel, homie.
Why the big wheel? That's
Big wheel was my transportation through
Oh,
the hood. Up and down the block, baby.
Oh, what decade would you like to relive?
The 80s.
Mm.
The 80s, definitely the 80s.
Was it just like the freedom or like?
I wasn't looking at all the grown up problems. Man, I was a
Straight
kid.
up.
You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at them. I was a kid.
It's
Freedom.
it's funny like when
Wasn't
you're a
paying
kid,
no bills.
you take that for granted because you just like, oh, my life's so stressful, and it's like, nah.
I didn't have no stress during that time. I was foot fancy free, man.
Hey man, let's go with if you could travel anywhere, where would you go?
Right now,
Yeah.
Bora Bora.
That's what's that west? Like west of Hawaii, ain't it?
What is it? Fiji.
Oh
Close to the
yeah.
Fiji Islands.
Okay. That's secluded. What was your all-time best Halloween costume?
All time best Halloween costume. Oh, when I was a pimp.
Was it did you get like full on suit or was it like more the Party City costume? You know what I'm talking about?
Nah, me and my wife put the fit together.
Nice.
Yeah, we put the fit together. We was right at winning the best dress, but you know, it's all good.
It's politics.
It was some politics in the game, yeah. But it's all good.
Your fondest memory of marriage right now, like throughout the 7 years.
I've been married going on 16 years.
Oh, 16. I don't know where I got 7. My bad.
Yeah, so my
Oh,
fondest memory of being married was the first time me and my wife traveled out the country together after going through, no, take that back. I say the funnest time was when me and her went on a 2-week vacation to Atlanta.
what y'all do? Y'all get to go to Savannah too?
We went through all Atlanta and went over to Birmingham. But
Ooh.
the fact that we stayed in the hood in College Park, I booked this trip through Kayak, right?
Uh-huh.
All paid. It was paid a while. She didn't even know we was going. But it was a difficult time in our life where we needed to have that time to kind of rekindle and kind of set our future up to see if we on the same page. So it was the best time for me and best time for her, as well as it was so much needed and important for us to have that time. And it was a very strong growing moment because I think my baby girl was probably about, that was in 2015. So that was it's 22. So 7 years ago, my baby girl was about 7, and my wife don't believe in leaving our kids with nobody. So she left my kids for 2 weeks and didn't even worry. So that was a turning point for me and for her to know that we gotta learn how to live our lives after our children grown and gone.
So you ain't gotta worry about that emptiness.
Yeah, because she be struggling with it. She struggled with it.
What's I guess like what builds y'all, like what makes y'all foundationally strong?
She's never tried to change me. She accepts me for who I am. And that's hard in any relationship, to allow your mate or spouse to actually be who you are. So from the beginning of when we got together, I never had a problem communicating with her. And actually, she taught me how to be a better communicator. It's something I still have to work on to give her back what she gave me, and that's to listen. So a lot of times I hear her, but because I have so much experiencing things different than her, I don't always see why she says what she says until I actually sit back and listen. So that's something I want to work on, because in our latter years, I just want to make sure I hear her correctly. So learning to sit back and listen, and I started changing the way I do that by learning how to let her be at ease when she speaks.
How do you get to that point in communication?
I mean, it's work. You gotta know to yourself, I want to give a person the same respect that they give me. So you can't always think shit run on your time. You gotta be able to reciprocate what you dish out. So if you dish it out, you gotta dish it. You gotta be able to receive it back. You know what I mean? You can't throw shit at somebody and don't expect shit to get thrown back. You know what I mean? That's a one-way street. That ain't a two-way street.
What's your favorite characteristic about her?
My favorite characteristic, her heart. Her heart is tremendous, tremendously big, tremendously big. I have children from other women, like I said, and you would never know when we all together that they have different mothers when they with my wife. When they with my wife, those are her children. Period. It'll seem as if she popped them out of her own womb. Period. You saw this weekend on Sunday, they was like, Ma, what this, Ma, what you making, Ma. They want her to be, they hang out. They want her to hang out with them. They own mamas don't hang out with them like that. They hang out with my wife like that.
Y'all definitely. I notice y'all treat others how you want to be treated. Heavy.
Yeah, for real. That's real. I mean, it's hard, man. That's one of the biggest things in life is to treat a person like you want to be treated. Don't be disrespectful. Don't be, overbearing. Don't be condescending to a person. Like I made the kids watch that movie for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I just kept saying, hey, they was talking till the movie got. They don't like superstars.
Oh, yeah. The background info.
Yeah, I wanted to tell them at the time, shut up and listen to the movie. But they'll be offended, like, why my daddy talking like that to us? It's just a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I fought through the movie, let them, because when I watch movies, I won't shut the hell up, be quiet. But they catty chatties, but then when the movie got good, then they start, oh shit, calm down. So I've learned that my grandparents, when we used to watch movies, they shut up. I don't tell my kids shut up. That's negative. So I took it because we was built that way. My kids won't take it like that. They'll be like, you hurt my feelings. Hurt your feelings? What was you doing? You ain't looked at your actions. And that's hard to tell a person something that hurt their feelings, you can't get it back. So That's the one thing I've practiced being married to my wife, is that not to say what I think at that point in time, to just give it a moment to settle down and where I could use the correct terms and the correct words, because it'll be messed up. It'll be totally messed up. Like a situation happened past weekend, and her and I was out hanging out, and we was having a great time. And when we got in the car, I was messing with her, messing with her, messing with her, but I didn't even think till when she kind of like rejected. It wasn't like she rejected. She just was like, "Don't do that because that was unsanitized or was unclean." But I wasn't looking at it like that, because I'm thinking, you telling me recently, like, we need to go hang out, we need to do this more, we need to do that. The one time we doing it now, after all the busy schedule you and I have, we making time for this. Now it felt like rejection. So I really was like kind of upset. So when I got home, I made sure she was home, got her in the house. I didn't say nothing out of pocket. I came through the front door, jumped on my bike, and took off. I didn't tell her where I was going, why I was going, or nothing. She didn't call and say nothing. She didn't call and be like, "What you tripping on?" None of that. And I didn't say nothing to her. I came home, and probably about, I guess about 2:15, 2:20 in the morning, she called and was like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "I'm right here in the front room." She was like, "You ain't here." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here." So then she just hung the phone up. Like, I can't tell you what she was thinking at that point in time. I can't tell you she thought I was somewhere doing something I had no business doing or what. But the fact that she knew I was mad, she didn't call me snapping. She called me and asked me, "Was I all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm here." Enough said. Next day, we was talking. Good morning, hi. Wasn't no major conversation, because I still was trying to figure out why she responded the way she responded. I wasn't going to find out until I had the right tone to take out that fire of wanting to attack her. So while we was going handling some business, because we worked together a lot, and she started talking more, and I started talking more, and then I could tell that it was time I could ask her. I said, "So why did you do what you did yesterday? Why was you acting funny yesterday?" She said, "Because I didn't know, had your hands been washed or clean, everybody was trying to shake your hand, and it's COVID. Everybody was trying to be all up on you." I said, "But I went to the bathroom before we walked out the door and washed my hands." She said, "I didn't see that." I said, "Okay, that's cool."
So having the opportunity to kind of decompress, and then having the opportunity to actually express both sides and communicate through it.
Because I like to be spontaneous. But like she said, so many people were approaching us, wanting to give me dap, give me fist pump, trying to shake my hand, trying to give me hugs. She like, "That's COVID." You know what I'm saying? Like, COVID real. We didn't have a mask on. You know, I didn't hit the little pump but spray
Oh
thing.
yeah.
You know, she didn't see it. But I had dipped off and went and washed my hands and then came out. But she didn't see that part. So I couldn't trip on it. I was like, okay. I had to look at the fact I did have a couple drinks. I was feeling myself. She was looking amazing. She wouldn't actually had her hair done the way I like it done. So I wasn't trying to waste no time. I was trying to get on. But I didn't look at all the factors. And sometimes arguments and situations get blown out of proportion for minute stuff like that. So I could have wound up hurting her feelings as well as me thinking she hurt mine. And I probably couldn't have got that back.
That's just having that understanding.
And I could have, when I went to go have another drink, when I rode my bike, I could have got myself in some more shit. But, like I tell her, that was the biggest part in our life that I had to work on because I'm used to getting what I want. And sometimes getting what you want don't mean at that second. It might take a little bit to get it. You got to learn how to be a little patient. And most men don't master that until they learn to internalize themselves. When you know how you operate and you know what makes you tick, that's when you will learn how to discipline yourself.
Avoid
If
it.
there ain't nobody else disciplining you, you can avoid a whole lot of situations if you discipline yourself. Like you told me, standing in the restaurant. I said, "Oh, you want a drink?" You said, "Nah, no drink, no smoke." You got your head on straight. It ain't no knock to you saying, why? No. You trying to stay laser focused. I commend you on that.
Right on.
Yeah.
What's the next moves for sauced and loaded chicken wings?
Man, build up, man, and branch out, you know. Chicken's still the number one commodity. Whether you think it is or you think it ain't. Chickens is the ultimate high, man. You know what I mean? It's fulfilling food. You don't take a whole lot. Some people are greedy. Some people just like to eat a lot of wings, but you know, it's still soothing and not heavy. You know what I mean? For those people who changing their diets, we don't use batter or anything on our chicken. We cook a naked chicken, so it's all protein.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So people who changing their diets, or you know, people who, you know, watch their eating habits and understand calories and stuff like that, you can come in and get regular plain chicken and eat as much as you like. It's good plain and it's good when it's sauce. So do what sauce you want.
That's what's up. I guess respectful of your time, and we coming up on an hour. It don't seem like it. It came up fast, yeah. So, I guess like your final thoughts, like stuff that you would want, like your kids, grandkids, great grandkids, your closest friends and acquaintances to kind of know you by.
I already know what they gonna say. Dude, consistent. The dude, my dad, consistent, and if he believe in something, he definitely gonna do what he believe. Like he's a firm. Like they'll say, I'm a firm believer. Like when he put his mind to it, he can do it. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with knowing that when I was even doing wrong, I was consistently doing wrong. When I changed my life to do right, I changed my life to do right. And everybody gonna say he ain't gonna take no bullshit. You can bullshit a lot of people, but he ain't the one. So, you know, that's one thing they're gonna say. And I respectfully say that I inherited that from my grandfather, John Albert Thurman. Love that dude to death. He was a World War II veteran and born and raised in Kosciuszko, Mississippi. That was my rock. That was my dude. That was the dude who taught me principles, who taught me manners, who taught me respect, who taught me to be firm, stand. He taught me to be a man. I wouldn't have none of this if it wasn't for him, my grandmother, Algerita, My grandmama Mary L. Bell and my grandfather E. L. Bell. My grandparents played a very significant role in my life. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Mm.
Period.
It's real. Well, I appreciate you. I'm gonna edit this. Had to send it back to you for sure. Man, lovely family, lovely household. I appreciate y'all opening your doors for me. You know, a lot of people they say one thing, but doing it is a whole different thing. So
Well, now you gonna say, at least I know cuz consistent. You feel me? So, man, it was a pleasure having you here, seeing your face, knowing some of the adversities and things that you going through in your life, some of the challenges. But man, you got a positive outlook. That's rare to
thank
see
you.
a young man with sparkles in his eyes and a nice smile, a warm smile, no ill intent, and moving and making moves. You ain't sitting still twiddling your thumb. You making moves. You making positive moves. And like I say, you on your 4-7, bruh. You know what I mean? you got you got a full 20-something more years to put yourself where you want to be. You know what I mean? As long as you taking good care and you already started by no smoke, no drink. That's one of the most healthiest ways is, man, I ain't gonna front. Prison helped me.
Mm.
It taught me discipline upon the discipline my grandparents taught, but it taught me how to learn how to say no. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Mm.
Just because you doing it don't mean I got to. I do it when I want to, when it's beneficial and enjoyment that I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to. There's plenty of liquor and all that around here, but I don't got to drink it every day, all day. I don't come right in my house as soon as I finish my day to decompressing. I come to get my mind right. I don't necessarily gotta. I don't got to. I need to figure out why, what happened, and why it happened. What did I do that can make that change so it don't happen weeks and weeks later?
Mm-hmm.
If I can stop it now, let me stop it now. And it started with me. So I take my hat off to you.
Thank you.
For real, I salute. That's a boss move. Don't let nobody tell you different.
All right.
For real, it's a boss move. People don't understand that word. That boss word. That boss is a different animal, bro. They make some real difficult decisions, and it transfers from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. It can mean war. It can mean casualties.
Mm.
You do not understand. You know you can kill a person quicker with your tongue than you can with any weapon.
Mm.
So a boss is very difficult, bro. Very difficult. You can kill up some stuff with your words. That tongue is the power, boy. Powerful.
Well, I appreciate you, cuz, and
Yeah, for sure.
until next time.
All right, baby.